Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, live via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcomed. This is Christmas morning. Merry Christmas to each one of you. Living unconsciously brings hangover. On a Christmas morning, this is the befitting message. Do not live your life unconsciously. Do not live mechanically. Let there be a total awareness of what you're doing and living moment to moment with awareness is the way. The first thing to remember is how to drop thoughts and become thoughtless. You are thoughtless but not alert, not aware, because in deep sleep also one becomes thoughtless, and but that will not help in any way, because in deep sleep you are not conscious. Indeed, in deep sleep you are thoughtless, but there is no awareness. It is good for the body. That is why after deep sleep the body feels rejuvenated and you feel fresh. But this does not mean there is awareness. The body feels refreshed, but the mind remains tired even in the morning, because mind continues its activities through dreams and in many other ways. The body relaxes, though it too cannot relax totally because of the mind. Thoughts remain somewhere like an undercurrent. The body relaxes somewhat, but it cannot relax completely. The body relaxes, though it cannot relax totally because of the mind, but still it relaxes. So in the morning, the body feels okay. At least it is workably okay. However, the mind still feels tired. Even in the morning, you go to the bed tired. You get up in the morning tired, more tired because the mind was continuously working while you were sleeping, dreaming, thinking, planning, and desiring throughout the night. In deep sleep, there comes a few moments when you are absolutely unconscious. You become one. This same oneness is needed with a conscious mind, conscious and alert mind. As you are in deep sleep, when there is no thought, no distinction of good and bad, heaven and hell, God and devil, no distinction of any kind, you simply are, but unconscious. This has to be attained when you are alert and conscious. Samadhi is the final, the ultimate in meditation. It is nothing but deep sleep with full awareness. There is total consciousness that there is no thoughts. Deep sleep you attain. So only thing to be attained is more and more consciousness. If you can add more consciousness to your deep sleep, certainly you are enlightened. If you add more consciousness to your deep sleep, you become enlightened. The mountain is transcended and the path opens. This is the first thing to remember. To bring more awareness to your deep sleep. Second thing, you carry the past within you, and that creates multiplicity. You were a child once, the child is still hidden in you, and sometimes you can still feel the child kicking within you. That remains. And sometimes the situation is different. In certain moments you regress and become the child. Once again, this is the childhood. Because you carry the past within you, and that creates multiplicity. You were a child once, the child is still hidden in you and sometimes comes to the surface. And sometimes you can still feel child kicking in. In certain moments you regress and become the child once again, specifically with someone that you love the most. You were once young, now you are old, still the young is hidden there. And sometimes even an old man starts being as foolish as a young man. You carry the whole past, every moment of it, and you have many things hidden within you. From the womb up to now, you have been millions of persons, and they are all carried within you. They are carried within you layer by layer, and these layers create problem within you. You have grown, but the past has not disappeared. One really grows when the past has completely disappeared. You have grown, but the past has not yet disappeared. It may be hidden, but it is still there. Remember, it is not only the mind, it is even in the body. The physical mind, which works mechanically, leads your steps unconsciously towards the home, and you do things mechanically. It may be hidden, but it is still there. Remember, it is not only in the mind, it is even in the body. If when you were a small child and you were angry and someone said, "Stop, don't be angry," and you stopped, that anger is still being carried by your hand. It has to be so because energy is indestructible, and unless you relax, that hand will still persist. Unless you do something consciously to complete the circle of that energy, which became anger in a certain moment 50 years back or 60 years back, you will still carry it within you, and it will color all your actions. We live, but we do not live consciously. We do not complete something, maybe a relation. You start a relation, problems come up, you do not complete it. And until it is completed, complete means it attains to fruition. The flower, the seed is planted. It takes time for it to, from seed until it becomes flower, then fruit, and fruit to seed again. This is the complete process. A thought existed in a seed form, it begins to blossom as a relationship. But then problem comes in, you abandon that. Either you can live it with awareness, and when you are living with someone out of awareness, it is easy to clear that. It is easy to bring it to fruition. But once that relationship is abundant, it becomes difficult. Then you have to enter into that to complete it meditatively. If when you were a small child and you were angry and someone said, stop, don't be angry, this is how we live. First, a child's emotions are hurt. He wants to cry. Then unconsciously you tell the child, stop crying, otherwise I'll give you a slap. Hush. How can a child whose emotions are hurt can stop crying? He will simply try to hold the breath. And in that many things goes in the subconscious. And that remain there. You were a child and you were angry and someone said, stop, don't be angry, and you stopped. That anger is still being carried by your hand. It has to be so because energy cannot be destroyed. And unless you relax the hand in the hand, it will still persist. Unless you do something consciously to complete that circle of energy, which became anger in a certain moment 50 years or 60 years back, you will carry it within you and it will color all your actions, all your relations. That's why sometimes it becomes very difficult to relate to a person. You can touch somebody, but the touch won't be pure. The whole past is carried by the hands. All repressed anger and hatred is there embedded, is there hidden, is there stored in the hand. Even if you are in love and you touch a person, your touch is not pure. Love cannot be because there, where will that anger go, which is carried, stored by the hands? When there is anger in the hand, your touch cannot be a loving touch. William Reich worked very much on this somatic repression. This he calls that somatic repression. Both body and the mind carry the past. Because of this loaded state, you cannot be here and now. You have to come to terms with your past. You have to come in terms with your past. Come to terms with your past. So meditation is not only a question of doing something here and now. Before that is possible, you have to come to terms with your past, that it is there. You have to dissolve all hangovers, and there are millions of them within each one of you. Even when one becomes old, he carries still the traces of unlived childhood, the unlived youth, a young man, a child, and all that he has ever been there. Do you know how to die every moment? That is the whole art of living. The art of living means dying to this very moment. To die moment to moment so that there is no hangover, no memory of the past remaining within you. A relationship has finished. You do not carry it. You simply die to it. What can you do? Something has happened and now it is not happening. You accept it. You dissolve it. You die to it. You simply drop it with full awareness that it is. This relationship is finished. No traces are being carried over. Now you are not carrying the past, but it does not happen. The relationship is over physically, but still it carries the hangover. You were not available to the moment meditatively when you were making love. Now the physical relation is no more, but unfulfilled desires hang around your consciousness as anger and in many offsprings. I see it every day happening to the people. Then you have no serenity, no peace, no harmony. You are no more a child, but watch yourself and you will feel the child is there. And that child creates the trouble within you. If you were once, you were really a child, there would be no trouble. But now you are young. You cannot act as a child, but the unlived child is still there in you. I have heard about Mullah Nasruddin once. Mullah Nasruddin was hospitalized. He was 80 and then came his birthday. He had been waiting for his 3 sons to bring him a gift, each one of them. They came, of course, but they did not bring any gift with them because he was now 80 years of age. Children are very anxious to receive the gifts, but somewhere the unlived child is still there in you and you are hankering that somebody has to give me a gift. You feel hurt that nobody brought a gift for me. A child feels happy with the present, but an 80-year-old man, his eldest son was 60, so they did not think about it at all. But when they came, Mullah looked and they were all empty-handed. He felt angry. He felt frustrated. And he said, "What? Have you forgotten your old father?" It does happen sometimes when we forget the birthday of an elderly person. So you forget me or what? You forget your old father, your poor old father's birthday is today. It is my birthday today. The child at that moment surfaced. You could have looked into his eyes, and this 80-year-old man was not there. Instead, the child was waiting for some kind of gifts, toys, or anything else. This always happens. One son said, "Forgive us, we forgot completely." Mullah said, "I think I will forgive you because it seems this forgetfulness runs in our family." Mullah said, "I can forgive you because it looks like that this forgetfulness runs in our family. Really, I forgot to marry your mother." And he was really angry. "I really forgot to marry your mother," and Mullah was really angry. So all the 3 shook in unison and they said, "What do you mean we are? What do you mean we are?" He said, "Yes, and damn cheap ones at that." When people are emotionally disturbed, specifically husbands and wives, they will tell how others are planning big celebrations for them just for the other to hear. This is the outcome of emotional disturbance. Everyone has that emotional disturbance within him. He will say, this one or that family member or that friend or my friend is planning a big birthday party for me. This is out of emotional disturbance. The child continues sometimes in you. When you weep, you can find him there. When you laugh, you can find him there. When somebody gives you a present, you can find him there. Your eyes gobble. Your eyes glitter. When somebody forgets you, you can find him there. When somebody appreciates you, you can find a child surfacing from deep within. When somebody condemns you, again you can find him there. It is very difficult to really mature. One can never be mature unless the child simply dies within you. You do not expect anything from anyone and there is no hangover. It is very difficult to be really mature. One can never mature unless the child simply dies within you. It is no longer part of your consciousness. Otherwise, it will go on influencing your actions, your thoughts, your relationships, and this is what goes on happening on a day-to-day basis in our lives. And this is not only true for the child. Every moment of the past is there influencing your present. Every moment of your past is influencing your present, and that's why you cannot live the present moment. I see it happening every day. I'm trying to interact with someone in the present moment. The past encroaches upon. In many forms, past encroaches upon. It is there influencing your present. Indeed, your present is so loaded, and millions of voices from the body and the mind go on manipulating you. Then there is no way to reach the path. You are a mountain, and this mountain has to be dissolved. What to do? It can be dissolved consciously. One thing is to live your past again consciously, which I have mentioned as a meditation from time to time to people when they encounter the mention of their problems. Such is the mechanism of consciousness. Remember, when you live something consciously, it never burdens you anymore. As part of meditation, you relive those moments consciously. When pain happened to you, when happiness happened to you, and then there will be no hangover. This is the mechanism of consciousness. Remember, whenever you live something consciously, it never remains a burden on you, it never hangs over. Try to understand this. It never becomes a burden on you if you have lived it consciously. But all your life you have lived unconsciously, and that hangover remains. If you go to the marketplace to purchase something, and you move consciously, walk consciously, purchase the things consciously with full remembrance, mindfully, come back home, this will never be part of your memory. This is living consciously moment to moment. You go to the marketplace, you go to your spouse to make love. you do it consciously, this will not remain hanging over your consciousness. I do not mean you will forget it. Certainly it will not be there, but it will not be loaded on your memory. If you want to remember it, you can remember it, but it will not consciously forcing your attention towards it. It will not be loading anything anymore, because this moment has been lived consciously. Whatever you do consciously is lived through and is no longer remains a hangover. Whatsoever you do consciously is lived through and is no longer remains a hangover. Whenever you live unconsciously, it becomes a hangover, because you never live it totally. Still something remains incomplete in that moment, of that relationship. When something is incomplete, it has to be carried, and it constantly waits to be completed. Remember this. In existence wants nothing incomplete. A relationship you started, you have to attain to its fruition. And the moment that attains to fruition, it is no more hanging over your consciousness. You were a child and somebody had broken your toy. You were crying and your mother consoled you, diverted your mind somewhere, gave you some sweets, talked about something else, told you a story to divert your attention, and you were going to cry and weep and you forgot. This happens. We do it consciously. We do it unconsciously, and what kind of repercussion does it have on the child's consciousness, you do not understand. Rearing a child is not an easy phenomenon. That has remained incomplete. You have to tell the child, if the toy broken, that's okay. Your journey with the toy was only up to this moment. You can get another toy. You can buy the same toy again or a next one. Let the child, that memory vanish from the mind of the child same time, rather than remaining hanging over. That remains incomplete, and it is there, and any day, whenever somebody snatches a toy from you, it may be any toy, it may be even your girlfriend or a boyfriend, and somebody snatches her or takes away, you start weeping and crying. And you can find the child there, incomplete. It may be a post. You are the mayor of the city, of the town, and somebody in the election takes over the mayorship. It is a toy. And you are crying and weeping again with the same intensity. Your spouse, your girlfriend or the boyfriend leans towards someone else, or someone else takes over. Again there is a lament. Find out regress in the past, where you regress on a day-to-day basis. Move through it again, but consciously, because there is no other way now. The past is there no more. So if something has remained hanging over, the only way is to relive it in the mind. Move backwards. Live each unlived moment consciously. This applies even to your sex life. I emphatically make a mention. Live each unlived moment consciously. This applies even with your sex life. Even the unfulfilled sex hangs around you. When sex hangs over, there is nothing worse than that. And everybody has unfulfilled sex hanging over his or her consciousness. Live each unlived moment consciously if you want to transcend. This applies even to your sex life, and I have no reservations about this. It is based on my personal experience. Even the unfulfilled sex hangs around your consciousness. When sex hangs over, it leads to many kind of ailments, trauma, this and that and so. It is the worst kind of hangover. Every night make it a point to go back for 1 hour fully alert, as if you are reliving the whole thing again. Allow the things move like a video, but consciously. The Master is there to help you. Many things will bubble up and will call your attention immediately. So do not be in a hurry. Do not pay half attention towards it. Do not pay half attention to anything and then move again, because that will again create an incompleteness. Whatsoever comes, give total attention to it. Live it again. And when I say live it again, I mean live it again. Go into those moments. Now, those moments are not there, but the effect of there is there in your consciousness. You have regressed. Now you are living it consciously. And when you live it again, I mean live it. I do not mean just remember, because when you remember it as a thing, you are detached observer, and that cannot help. Relive it totally, that you are in that moment, and this is what is happening to you again. You are watching the video of your doings. You have done something, you make a video of it and you go on watching it. So you are watching the video of your past hangovers. You are a child again. Do not look as if you are standing apart and looking as a child is looking at his toys being snatched away. No. Instead, be the child again. Not outside the child, inside the child, and be again the child. Relive that moment. Somebody snatches the toy, somebody destroys it, and you start crying and crying. Your mother is trying to console you through the whole thing again. You are reliving that moment. But now do not be diverted by anything. Let the whole process complete now. Let the whole process be completed now. When it is completed, suddenly you will feel your heart is less heavy, as if something has dropped. You wanted to say something to your father, and now he is dead. Now there is no way to tell him anything. Or you wanted to ask his forgiveness for a certain thing you did, which he did not like. But your ego came in and you could not ask for his forgiveness. Now he is dead. Now nothing can be done but to do. And it is there hanging over in your consciousness. It will go on and destroy your relationship, not only with your father, with anyone else for that matter. You cannot relate to others even in that situation. I am very much aware of that, because to be a master is to be, in a certain sense, a father. It is to be many things, but very importantly, it is in a certain sense to be a father. When people come to me, if they are loaded with their relationship with their father, then it becomes very difficult to be related, for them to be related to me. Because I always feel their father comes in between. If they have hated their father, they will hate me too. If they wanted to fight with their father, they will fight. If they love their father, they will love me too. If they respected their father, they will respect me naturally. If deep down there had been disrespect, it will be the same with me, and the whole thing starts working. And the same thing happens when a woman comes to a master. They bring their unfulfilled relationships through anger. If you are conscious, you can watch it, go back. Now your father is neither anymore, nor your husband, nor your wife, but for the eyes are still glittering with the memory. I see this happening every day. Again be the child who has committed something, done something against the father, wants to be forgiven but cannot gather courage. Now you can gather courage. You can say whatsoever you wanted to say. You can touch his feet again. You can give him an embrace. Or you can be angry and hit him, but be finished. Let the whole process be completed. Remember one basic law. Anything that is complete, when the fruit is ripe, only then it falls from the tree. When the fruit is ripe, only then it falls from the tree. When the leaves are no more needed, it turns gold and fall. Anything that is complete drops, because then there is no meaning of carrying it. Anything that is incomplete clings and waits for its completion. Maybe lives after life it waits for completion. Therefore, it hangs over your consciousness to be waiting for a certain moment. In the company of the Master it happens. And this existence is really always after completion. The whole existence has a basic tendency to complete anything and everything. It does not like incomplete things. They hang, they wait, and there is no hurry for the existence. They can wait for millions of years, millions of lives for you to take. Move backward. Every night for 1 hour before you go to sleep, move to the past. Relive. Many memories by and by will be unearthed. With many, you will be surprised that you were not aware that these things were there. And with such vitality and freshness, as if they had just happened. You will again be a child, a young man, and a lover. Many things will surface. Move slowly so everything is completed. Your mountain will become smaller and smaller day by day. Only then the healing is possible. A certain quality of freedom will come to you and freshness too inside. And you will feel that you have touched the source of life, the source of living within you. You will always be vital. Even others will feel that when you have walked, your step has changed. It has a quality of a dance. When you touch, your touch has changed. It is no more a dead hand. It has become alive again. Now life is beginning to flow because the blocks are disappearing. There is no anger in the hands. Love can flow easily, unpoisoned in its purity. You will become more and more sensitive, vulnerable, and even open. If you have come to terms with the past, suddenly you will be here, you will be now, in the present moment. Because then there is no need to move again and again. Go on moving every night. By and by, memories will come to the surface because your eyes, they will come before your eyes and they will be completed. Relive them completely. Suddenly you will feel that they have dropped. Now there is nothing more to be done. The thing is finished. Less and less memories will surface as time moves on. There will be gaps and you would like to live, nothing surfaces. Certainly those gaps are beautiful. Then a day will come when you will not be able to move backwards because everything is complete. There is no more hangover. When you cannot move backwards, only then do you move forward. Then there is no other way. And to move forward is to reach the path. The whole consciousness moving ahead every moment into an unknown, but your legs are being pulled continuously towards the back, towards your past lived. The whole consciousness is moving forward every moment into the unknown, but your legs are pulling you backward. Your memories are pulling you backward continuously to the past. As the past hangs heavy on you, then how can you move into the future, into the unknown and unknowable? How you can move into deep within you? And how can you be in the present? The mountain is really big. It is a mountain, uncharted, uncamped, unmapped mountain. And nobody knows how to pass through it. Everybody carries such a different mountain within. It is a mountain top, everyone, that you can never make a map out of it because it differs with everyone. You have your mountain top to carry, others have their mountain tops to carry, and with these mountains, when you meet with people, there is only clash and conflict that happens there when we enter into any relationship. After a while, the clash begins. The whole life becomes just a violent struggle, and everywhere you will see and feel and hear the clashes happening. Whenever somebody comes near you, you are tense and the other also feels tense. Both are carrying the peaks of tension as mountains within. Sooner or later, they will clash. You may call it love, but those who know, they know that it is clash. Now there is going to be misery. Be finished with the past. As you become free from the past, the mountain starts disappearing, the clashes start disappearing. And then you will attain to unison. You will become by and by one. This is the way to clear the memories, by reliving them consciously. However, you can only reach to your childhood. You can reach up to your childhood, up to the age of 5. This is the technique of the primal therapy of Abraham Maslow. However, you can only reach up to your childhood, up to the age of 5. The memories start forming not before that age. They start forming after the age of 5. To go beyond the age of 5 to the moment of conception and beyond, that is a totally different phenomenon. Once you have lived your past up to the age of 5, there is a lot of ease, and also the journey beyond that becomes easier. And that is the technique that was invented by Buddha. Beyond the age of 5 to the age when you were conceived. How the arrangements were made for you to enter the womb. That's a different matter altogether. On this Christmas morning, once again wish you a Merry Christmas to you and the family. It is an important message to ponder, to introspect, to start reliving that moment. Only this much for this morning. Take care and do have a pleasant day. Merry Christmas to each one of you and the entire family. Give them my love and wishes. Thank you for being such a patient listener this morning. Bye until then.